Welcome to Standard Voice Television Global News. Today, 20th August 2026, equivalent to Islamic calendar, 7th Rabi'ul Awal 1448 after Hijrah. The headlines. President Tinubu orders further forensic investigation into Phantom Promotion Council. Broadcasting Commission cautions radio and TV presenters, online publishers, others against misinformation. Federal government expresses commitment to addressing military veterans, welfare, other issues. On international scene, former Iranian diplomat Kamayar warns U.S. over blockade of Strait of Hormuz. On sports update, Senate summons Sports Commission, NFF over Eagles-Falcons World Cup news. This and more will be coming to you in the bulletin. Stand by. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered a comprehensive forensic probe into the fictitious Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council (Icpc) scandal. The Minister of Defense and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele, made this known while briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council (FEC) meeting in Abuja. He disclosed that the President has specifically ordered the review to extend to the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, warning that fake agencies likely mean fake employees somewhere within the federal payroll. Oyedele disclosed that 9.495 trillion naira in subsidy savings and incremental revenue had gone into incremental payment of salaries and allowances to civil servants, a figure he said exceeded the actual savings that accrued to the federal government from the subsidy removal. The minister hinted that FEC also approved the signing of double taxation avoidance treaties between Nigeria and Ghana, Nigeria and Tanzania, and Nigeria and Switzerland. The Federal Executive Council (FEC) has approved the establishment of a drafting committee to develop a 5-year strategic defense cooperation plan with 90 days timeline to submit its reports. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents after the FEC chaired by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at Asarok Presidential Villa, Abuja. He added that the committee's membership would comprise the National Security Advisor, the 2 Ministers of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, and all the service chiefs, the Director General of DSS, the Director General of NIA, and the Special Advisor to the President on Homeland Security, who will provide the secretariat for the committee. The minister stated that Tinubu noted that operational requirements were currently often considered individually, without sufficient reference to an agreed national threat assessment or unified medium-term plan, making coordination more difficult and limiting the efficient deployment of resources. Nigerian universities have been challenged to place greater emphasis on practical skills, innovation, and problem-solving rather than concentrating primarily on the award of academic certificates. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave the charge in Ilorin, Kwara State, while speaking at the 37th Annual Conference and General Assembly of the Committee of Vice-Chancellors of Nigerian Universities, held at the University of Ilorin. Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of State for Education, Suebat Ahmed, said this was necessary for universities to produce graduates capable of driving Nigeria's economic transformation and competing effectively in a rapidly changing global economy. She also described universities as strategic institutions in the country's development, saying their responsibility extended beyond awarding degrees. Meanwhile, the Kwara State government has urged Nigerian universities to ensure that the outcome of their deliberations translate into practical interventions capable of improving the lives of people in their host communities. The National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) has cautioned broadcasters, online publishers, bloggers, and other participants in Nigeria's rapidly expanding information ecosystem against the use of their platforms to spread misinformation, hate speech, inflammatory materials, and other content capable of undermining peaceful elections. The warning came as political parties and their aspirants across different political offices begin their campaign moves ahead of the 2027 general election. The technical advisor to the NBC Director General, Charles Ebu Moses Jola-Yemi, in a statement cautioned radio and television broadcasters to recognize that their platforms have enormous influence on public opinion and the choices citizens make during election as they disseminate information to the public. He called on these media outlets to uphold accuracy, fairness, professionalism, and responsibility. The NBC also canvassed for fair and balanced coverage of all political campaigns by licensed broadcasters through appropriate editorial verification to avoid any form of promotion or separation of a political party, candidate, or political viewpoints, as well as unverified presentation of political claims, allegations, statistics, or assertion as facts. The statement advised presenters, anchors, reporters, producers, and hosts to hold objective views and avoid harassment of guests, suppression of opposing viewpoints, or manipulation in favor of a particular political interest. The news is coming to you on Standard Voice Television. Still to come in the news. Federal government expresses commitment to addressing military veterans, welfare, and other issues. On the international scene, former Iranian diplomat Kamayar warns U.S. over blockage of Straits of Hormuz. On Sport Updates, Senate summons Sports Commission, NFF over Eagles-Falcons World Cup miss. This and more will come to you after this break.
Good day, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ezisho Damfulani. I'm the Managing Director of the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, NAIC. It is my pleasure to introduce NAIC, Nigeria's foremost agricultural insurance institution, established to provide insurance protection and risk management solutions for farmers, agribusinesses, and agricultural investments across the country. At NAIC, our mission is to safeguard farmers against losses arising from natural disasters, adverse weather conditions, pests, diseases, and other unforeseen risks that threaten agricultural productivity. By providing reliable insurance coverage, we help farmers recover from losses, improve access to finance, and contribute to national and food security and economic growth. In line with renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, we are committed to strengthening NAIC's capacity by expanding insurance coverage, embracing technology and innovation, and ensuring that more farmers and agricultural stakeholders across Nigeria benefit from our services. Agriculture remains the backbone of our economy, and insurance is the critical tool for protecting investments, enhancing productivity, and promoting sustainable growth in the sector. Through strategic partnership, improved service delivery, and digital transformation, NAIC will continue to support farmers and contribute to Nigerian food security and economic development. Together, we can build a more resilient agricultural sector and secure the future of farming in Nigeria. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Welcome back, and now the news continue. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to addressing protesting military veterans' pension adjustments and other welfare issues. The Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, gave the assurance when representative of the protesting ex-servicemen visited the Ministry of Defense in Abuja. Musa, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense, Richard Filangwa, said the government was committed to addressing the welfare, remuneration, and pension concerns of retired military personnel. The meeting is coming amid a heavy security presence around the ministry, where armed soldiers and policemen had earlier prevented the veterans from converging at the premises to commence their planned protests. The ex-servicemen are demanding the implementation of consequential adjustment to their pensions following salary increases approved for serving military personnel. The Chief Judge of Kaduna State, Justice Muhammad Aliyu, has declined the request by Nasir El-Rufai for the transfer of a criminal involving the former governor to a new judge. El-Rufai is being prosecuted before Justice Darius Kobo of the High Court of Kaduna State by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (Icpc) on a 9-count charge. The former governor and his lawyers wrote 2 petitions and prayed that the case be transferred from Justice Kobo to another judge of the court, raising sundry allegations. Justice Aliyu, in an August 19th letter to Justice Kobo, said he found no merit in the 2 petitions written by El-Rufai and his lawyer Ubong Akpan, praying that the case be reassigned to another judge. El-Rufai had, in his July 6 petition, made a number of allegations against Justice Kobo, including accusing him of being biased and allegedly pronouncing his guilt even before the substantive trial, claiming that Judge's ruling of June 10 was a prejudgment of his guilt and character. The Kaduna State government has expressed its willingness to engage in negotiations with the Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASU), Kaduna State University KASU chapter, to resolve the issues raised by the union. The government said constructive dialogues and mutual understanding remained the most effective means of addressing the concerns of the university's academic staff, urging ASU-KASU to embrace established channels of engagement rather than resorting to industrial action. The principal private secretary to the Kaduna State Governor, Bello Ayuba, disclosed this at a press briefing at Sir Kashim Ibrahim House, Kaduna. He urged ASU to reconsider the 2-week ultimatum over the non-implementation of the 2025 federal government ASU agreement, saying, "Let's build, not destroy." Ayuba said the state government remained committed to addressing legitimate concerns affecting KASU and would continue to engage the union and university management towards finding lasting solutions. The former Iranian diplomat Abbas Kamayar has warned that Iran is losing patience with the increasing U.S. naval obstruction of the Strait of Hormuz. Kamayar, a professor of international relations in Tehran, told Al Jazeera that recent appointments in military leadership and private meetings suggest that something is being prepared in the decision-making circle. He stressed that the issue has been a prominent topic of discussion among Iranians in recent days, indicating that the ongoing naval blockage or the persistent no war, no peace situation could lead to significant confrontations. Kamayar also argued that if Washington does not reaffirm its commitment to the existing agreement outlined in the Memorandum of Understanding with Iran, any escalation that follows would not be limited to Iran and the United States. He added that there would be significant confrontations that could potentially open new fronts and involve other regions, ultimately impacting both regional and global levels. The Senate Committee on Sports summoned the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) and the National Sports Commission (NSC) to an emergency meeting over Super Eagles' inability to participate in the 2026 World Cup, and Super Falcons as well failed to qualify for the 2027 FIFA World Cup in Brazil. Chairman of the committee, Senator Abdul Ningji, presided over the meeting, which was attended by NSC Chairman Shehu Diko and NFF President Ibrahim Musa Guso. He explained that the meeting was convened to account for the decline in Nigerian football, adding that the session would form the basis of a comprehensive briefing he intends to present to the Senate when it resumes next month. Ninja cited a reported $100,000 payment to players and officials and what he called a near quadrupling of the sports ministry's budget, arguing that this undercoat funding is a sole explanation for poor results. The senator also called Nigerians' absence from the 2026 World Cup and the Super Falcons' failure to reach the 2027 Women's World Cup painful developments. Finally on the news, the recap of the top stories again. President Tinubu orders further forensic investigation into phantom promotion cancel. Broadcasting Commission cautions radio and TV presenters, online publishers, others against misinformation. Federal government expresses commitment to addressing military veterans, welfare, other issues. On international scene, former Iranian diplomat Kamayar warns US over blockage of Strait of Hormuz. On sports update, Senate summons Sports Commission NFF over Eagles-Falcons World Cup miss. On behalf of the news editor Ilya Adamu Alta and the production crew, I am Charity Taylor. Thank you and bye for now.